Gear up, because this is the Fuel Your Marketing podcast, designed to accelerate sales and grow your business. Let's welcome your host, Arti Sharma.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fuel Your Marketing episode, and I am super excited about this episode, which is all around chatting with Alexa. In the next year, our potential customers' eyes and fingers will be taking a break when it comes to finding what they want. Instead, we all will be going to our voice assistants. At the end of 2018, there was a study that was done, and it was announced that 52 million Google Home devices were purchased. Now, thanks to the popularity and increased sophistication of all these technological advancements, all these devices and gadgets, 2020 is going to be the year that half of all searches will be done not by text, but by voice. And in the next year, a third of all website sessions will be voice-led. Can you imagine where we're headed? And there's another stat, which is if you are an e-commerce voice-powered company, about $1.8 billion were spent in retail revenue in the U.S. in 2017. And by 2022, that figure is expected to reach about 40 billion. So if you're an e-commerce store, huge opportunity that exists with voice search. Okay, and you definitely don't want to miss out on that. So now more than ever, this is becoming, as we can see with all these stats, it's essential to get your business focused on how to grab this trend and make it work for you. Many of you know that I talk a lot about search engine optimization, but you know what? This is going to change the way we kind of, see search engine optimization as a tactic or a strategy. So when you're aiming for an audience that's chatting with Alexa, you got to be thinking differently, right? You got to be thinking, what are they really going to say? Because it's not a very structured search in that case. And Longtail is going to get even more important because people don't ask questions using just a word there. They ask a few words or a sentence, right? When we talk, we naturally use more words. So how do you incorporate all of that into your content, your website messaging? So that's something that you might want to think as a business owner, as a marketer, leading the pack. And of course, if you're an agency listening to that, you already know that Longtail is definitely going to take more prominence. So it's going to be essential to cut out as much technical jargon as much as possible because we simply don't use that type of language in our day-to-day conversations, right? And most users won't be asking for anything complex. So now more than ever, it is essential to get your business focusing on how to grab this trend and make it work for you. Your SEO will require different style of keyword, as I mentioned, and Longtail will be more and more important. It'll be essential to cut out as much technical jargon as possible. We simply don't use that type of language in our day-to-day conversations, right? So most users won't be asking for anything complex. They just want to know, hey, Alexa, where can I buy the best croissants in town? Or think about your own user behaviors and see, are you always asking Alexa or Siri to show you a shop near you or a coffee shop near you or a kind of, a tire repair shop near you or a bike shop near me? And those two little words near me will be your best friends in voice searches because 58% of users utilize voice search to find a local business. So if you are a local business, there's a huge opportunity, but this is going to ramp up. There'll be a huge competition as well. So definitely get on, be the first to kind of get into your industry and start working on it now. Plus, people don't just use voice searches to find what they want. They use them to say where to go, where they don't know exactly what it is, right? I use it all the time. I feel like a pretty cool mom doing that. And I see that our household, our 9-year-old daughter, Viera, she's kind of, prone to using Siri and Alexa at home all the time. So this is where the industry is headed. This is how our user behaviors are kind of, and this is becoming part of our DNA too. And if it isn't in your household, trust me, very soon things will change. So you definitely want to be ready for the future. And, near me is a search, search keyword that was searched a lot And tapping into that is simple enough. I mean, just ask yourself, what's the scope of your business? Do you want to be recognized in your neighborhood, your city, your country? And accordingly, just add that as part of your overall voice search mix. So wherever you need to be known, it had better be located somewhere on your page. I mean, want to be the best, let's say, Thai restaurant in Toronto. Make sure you mention Toronto on your page in multiple areas. This will be also a great way to get yourself to, what we now call being in position 0. And I want to spend a little bit more time on that because of the importance of the second and third positions being non-existent when searching is done through a voice command. So, there's a rich snippet that shows, and the voice search won't be presenting with the list of options. Usually when you do a voice search, you'll simply ask a question, get an answer, right? If you want to be relevant to voice searches, then you must be the answer to that question. So if you want that answer, you're in position 0, right? If you're position 0, you're on the right track. Because people aren't just using Alexa to get what they want. They're asking her questions about what they need. These questions are a great way to grab Google's attention and get you in position 0. So if you're a chocolate shop, or you're a local restaurant, or a travel agent, or if you are like a dance school, or you are kind of selling music equipment, then consider what search queries may get someone to find your shop or find your retail store. You could be a private school, you could be an educational institution, you could be a taekwondo shop, or you could be a kind of the most favorite gourmet bakery in town, right? So then take these questions that people are asking locally and use them on maybe your homepage somehow. Create a frequently asked questions page, as I said. So imagine your customers asking, why do they put sea salt in caramel, right? Maybe put a section on your website where you say, why do we put a sea salt on our caramel? And then answer that question. You must think like the customer. And that's the key here, right? You must search like the customer as well and be able to answer those questions, be able to answer those queries, which will be relevant to your end users. So you need to understand the user's intent. That's the most important part, right? It's not about what you feel is good. It's not about what you think is good. It's about what your users think is going to be helpful. And then when they find it helpful, Google has a mechanism to find out what is getting most traction, to find out from the pool of those answers to show the most relevant and most read answers, right? Google's Hummingbird update in 2013 talked about it a little bit. So if you search for Google's Hummingbird update, if you're more interested in learning about this in a greater detail, then go check it out. How it works is to master this aspect of the voice search, and they talk a lot about how key phrases that will help in figuring out the intent, including the previously discussed near me section, as I said, or to buy, can I buy, those kind of keywords. Knowing how to take advantage of these intentional key phrases will help you get the featured snippet kind of section, right? So the intent with voice search should always be to get into the featured snippet for your company. And to do that, you'll have to test and try and, see what your user intention is and how your content is kind of bringing that intention out. Most likely try and either produce that content for your homepage or for the most, I would say, highly searched and ranked second page, because Google wants to go to the homepage as the first gateway page for the voice search. So get to that position 0, get to that featured snippet, and that's the key. So the other thing I want to share with you is that with the rise of voice searches, now more than ever, a featured snippet is our key to reaching more customers, as I said. But often that snippet will be what a user's home assistant will read back to them, right? After that search is being conducted. So predicting the intent, providing accurate, casual sounding information, and using conversational long tail keywords will really help you get to that snippet. So try and test it out, right? So one of the final ways that I want to leave you with to get to that position 0 is to check your Google My Business page. If any information is missing there, you might want to, add that, complete your Google My Business listing, because that's the way to get to that position 0 as well. Make sure that you have your brand name there, your hours of operation, your address, your phone number. all of this is accurate and up to date and is consistent. I mean, you don't want to Google My Business page that has got an address that's different from what you've listed on your website or on your Yelp page or your 411 page. So make sure that everything is consistent. In the SEO terminology, it's called NAP, name, address, and phone number. So make sure there's consistency around that. Now, SEO, as we all know, it seems like it's gearing up to make big changes. After our friend, smart assistants have taken over this. So conversational long-tail keywords are going to take precedence. And this should not be just kind of done to, instill search rankings. I always say search rankings are important. Don't write for search engines. First and foremost, think about writing for the humans. Make it more humanized rather than searchanized, if that's a word. And don't just write for Google, write for your end consumers, and Google will catch on to that, very quickly. So anticipate your user intent, how your users talk, learn, and find information, and maybe the questions that are asking, what kind of patterns are emerging. And if you talk like your users on your web page, you will definitely get closer to that position 0, and your voice activation commands that your users are asking, you will be found, and you will definitely make sure that you are on page 1. Actually, on position 0. And one thing I do want to share with you as I wrap up this podcast session is that the search results that you find on a mobile device for a certain key phrase or a long-tailed search will be different from what you find on a desktop. So kind of test that out as well for your industry, for your own website, and see what comes up, and then accordingly craft your strategy. But again, voice search is here to stay. We're all going to be chatting with Alexa in 2020 and beyond. We already are. And just remember that, 52 million Google Home devices were sold in 2018. And by 2020, 50% of these searches are going to be voice searches. So get ready for those. Take action, review your existing content, and see what your and listen to what your users' intent is, and understand what they're conversing and what they're looking for, and then adjust your content accordingly. So don't just stop here, because listening to a podcast must lead to taking action, because action does cure fear, right? Taking that small little action will help you to move past that fear of not doing anything. It would be one of those overwhelming thoughts that I always feel that I have to get to it, but I can't, or I haven't. So get out of that funk and just, mark your calendar to do something little about voice search and how you're going to adjust your strategy. It could be as little as kind of, searching on your mobile phone about your product and services and see if you come up or not, right? And what can you do to bring yourself up at that position 0? It could be as simple as calling that next marketing meeting and saying, hey, how can we include voice search in our SEO strategy? Or it could be as simple as just looking at who are the competitors who come up and what are they doing to be in that position 0. So do something. I hope you get the point. Again, action cures fear. That's not my quotation. That's one of my mentors, and I take it very seriously, because that one incremental action can change the way we do business. So don't stop here. Take action and keep fueling your marketing. Now, if you need help crafting your voice search strategy, you know where to get us. My company is Measure Marketing. We're a very data-driven agency. You can find us at www.measuremarketing.net. If you found this episode helpful, please feel free to share, comment, like, and spread the word around. Sharing is caring. I'll see you at the next one. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to the Fuel Your Marketing podcast. For more episodes, visit www.fuelyourmarketing.com.